I do.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell. I have no clue what she's a doctor of, so I'm very excited. And I did just tell her how much I love sugar, so I'm hoping it's not like doctor of healthcare or someone, a nutrition. But hi, Dr. Campbell. You have to introduce yourself because I don't know much, except what I do know is you're brave. I could tell that you're brilliant. And you are absolutely stunningly beautiful with a beautiful smile. So if I start just staring at you, yeah, I'm sorry. That's going to be your fault. That's on you.
Oh, I appreciate that. And you know what? I'll let you in a little secret. This smile is something that is from the inside out because 3 years ago, I decided to basically get rid of what no longer serves me. And so I have this level of peace that you cannot pay for. And I've always smiled, but my smile is deeper, right? It's not like I'm wearing a mask. I'm 53 years old. I'm feeling fabulous. And I'm ready to see what the next 50 years in life has to offer to me.
I love this. All right, introduce yourself because now I have a ton of questions and I did no prepping.
So I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. So 1992, I entered healthcare as a medical assistant. I come from a family of nurses and educators. I thought I wanted to be a nurse. I realized I don't care what hurts, how long it's been hurting, why you didn't take your medications. And so I have a PhD, and my specialization is healthcare administration. And part of what I do part-time is I work with clinicians to help them improve their documentation. So like what they said they did when they get paid for it, that they actually did. And that's me in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh, I love that. But I know there's more of you with the speaking. So let's just jump into the whole piece because I find that so fascinating. And also because I spend some time on a social audio app where there's a lot of personalities. And so a lot of people will say, I'm protecting my peace. And it's new terminology for me, Dr. Campbell. I don't recall, growing up. I got a decade on you, but I don't recall, just feeling like that there was even something called peace internally. So what made you decide to protect your peace? And then how did you go about doing it? Give us those tips on peace protection.
Yes. So number one, even though you have 10 years on me, we grew up in a time period where the world had, come out of the depression and the wars and all the things, right? And I witnessed my mothers, my aunts, they were just going, right? Just working and taking care of the household. I saw my father, my uncles, my grandfather, head of the household, never showed any emotion. And one of the things that I know today, I don't know the particulars, but I am pretty sure that there were periods in their life where I thought they were experiencing peace, and I don't believe that they were. But they did what they did for that time period. But when I talk about this inner peace, it's this peace where you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like you're being held hostage by anything. And I use that word hostage because a lot of times, many of us allow jobs, relationships, just all the things to keep you from living your true purpose. And how I got here is I was juggling entrepreneurship. I was working full time at a university. And after being there for 15 years, this new dean showed up on the scene. She did not like me. And I will never forget this. One day in a meeting, I said, you know what? I am no longer going to be held hostage by salary and benefits. She was like, what did you say? I said, I will no longer be held hostage by salary and benefits. That was my revelation that there was so much more that I could be doing on this other side of 50. And so I call that time period of my life the resignation that set me free. It set me free so that I can help those individuals who I'm supposed to be helping. And when I show up to help them, I don't also need help at the same time. How can I help somebody else when I need a lot of help?
So it's not necessarily, so it's so funny when I think of peace, I think of the people around me, but you more was like internally saying, I'm not going to let things hold me hostage. Give us a little bit more on how we can do it. Cause I don't think that this was the topic of our conversation, because I think there's so much more. And I actually am going to share your website because I love it. But I just peeked, okay, just a few minutes ago, everyone. But this is so interesting to me, this whole concept of peace. I didn't even think about like the piece of, so you take it from here, that internal piece and then the external piece, because I'm thinking there's got to be both.
There is both. So you know how we grew up, we were trained, you work, you retire, and then you live. That's not a good strategy. I'll never forget, my great aunt told me, if you wait until you can afford to do something, to travel, right, you'll never do those things. And so I found myself very early on that, hamster wheel, working. Well, first of all, working and going to school simultaneously, being a single parent, and just really carrying a lot of things on my shoulder. Every time people saw me, I've always smiled, right? I guess I came out the womb smiling. But internally, I was struggling. I was carrying things that I didn't even have a name for. And I actually refer to them as weight, WEIGHT, right? I was listening to that mental chatter in my mind. My emotions were all over the place. And I realized it was because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I was in healthcare. I was working with physicians. I was just doing all the things. But when I had an opportunity to really sit down and pause in the tub one day, tears just started coming down my face. My body was cold, but my face was warm. And I realized that I wasn't going to make it to my goal age of over 100. I just lost my grandfather, October 2025. He was 104. And so I said, I want to get to over 100, but I want my mind to be right. I want my heart to be right. And I want to help others. And I can't do that if I'm carrying stuff that I wasn't supposed to be carrying things that might have happened to me when I was younger, right? Being a single parent, trying to navigate school and all of that. So when I talk about this piece, it's waking up in the morning. Number one, I go to water aerobics, 10 o'clock Central Time daily. And I'm in the pool and I'm just smiling. And the seniors, they're like, my gosh, you're so happy because I am at peace. I am no longer trying to work day and night. I'm literally just trying to enjoy life and help others. That's what I'm talking about, the peace. So it's inside, but it's externally, because when you see me, I'm nice and calm. You don't see stress all over my face. And I know what it looks like to look in the mirror and have that stress. And it's not there anymore. I don't have any makeup on. This is just me.
It's so funny. So when we started this conversation, if you're listening, I had told Dr. Lisa Campbell that I was like, I just want to stare. And I may just get like, just start staring just because she's so beautiful and with a beautiful smile like this. And you're right. You do. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I want to switch gears for a second. Tell me how you celebrated. And I'm sorry he passed in October. How did you celebrate? Did he make it to 104 then you said? So he made it to 104. When's his birthday? When was it?
So his birthday is December 22nd. So he made it. He was 104, almost at 105. And we, of course, had the funeral celebration, the repast, all the things. But for me, his life was celebrated throughout, right? Because we had a big party when he turned 100. It was
Oh, yeah,
during,
that's what I want to know. You had a birthday party, 100. So did he celebrate his 104th birthday? Did he have a birthday party every year from there?
well, he was always celebrating.
He was.
He was always celebrating. And there's this saying that that you really lived your life by what people say about you. So, two things. Yes, we had a party every year. His 100th birthday was during the pandemic. And so the party wasn't, the same type of party. It was more or less like we had the cars driving down the block. He was outside in a little tent. The news was there. It was really cool. But I knew my grandfather was special. But what really sealed the deal for me was after he had died, you were like calling around, counseling, prescriptions, all of that. And one of the prescriptions, even though I had called and canceled it, they still were renewing it because they knew him. So we go to the drive-through. This was after the funeral services. And I said, hey, I want to cancel a prescription for Edward Campbell. And they were like, is he okay? I said, he died. Oh my gosh. The pharmacist came to the window crying. We loved him so much because he was very personable. So doctor's appointments, everything he did, people knew him. But he was born in 1920, World War II veteran. He saw a lot of things in life, but he realized life was meant to be lived, irrespective of what happened to him way back when.
Can I get a couple quotes? What were some of the things that he taught you? Please share.
Yeah. So one thing I recorded, I did an interview with him, and I'm so happy that I did because, my nieces and nephews that will be here, grandkids after I'm gone, I wanted something to be on cyberspace that they could tap into. So number one, I wrote about him in my very first book, Grow With Me. I titled the chapter, The House the Campbells Built. Because my grandfather's name, Edward Campbell, right? But there's a couple of things that he always said. Now, he's 104, telling you, younger version, telling me, young people, if you need me, just call me. And he meant it. If you needed him, call him. The other thing that he said was no matter how people treat you, you have to be kind to them. He talked about being in North Carolina in his military uniform and how some guys were basically trying to run him over and kill him. And in spite of that, he went on to have this amazing family, right? Now, we're not perfect by any means, but we are good people. We are good to other people. And I know that I'm standing on his shoulders. And so I know he's looking down, smiling, because he was a ladies' man now. He loved the ladies. Everywhere he went, they knew him. But he taught us to love each other, love yourself. But most importantly, and I should have said this first, but he always, and irrespective of what you believe, he taught us that God had to be the head of our lives. And he stood on that.
Did you interview him on your podcast?
So I interviewed him on my live talk show called The Growth Motivator Live. So I'll actually share that link with you.
Yes,
and
please.
Also on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube, I put together a video celebrating his life. So I'll share that with you as well. It was difficult to put the video together. I actually started working on it when he was in hospice, and he was in hospice at home. And I decided to do it then because I wanted to go back to the very beginning when I wasn't here and he was born. And I wanted to tell this story about his life, right? Being young, being in the military, meeting my grandmother, having 6 kids, and then all the grandkids and the great great grandkids. And so that video shares that story. And again, it's on YouTube, so it's going to outlive me.
Oh my gosh. When is your mom? Tell me about your mom.
So both of my parents are still alive, and it's my father's
Oh,
father.
both your parents are alive. Oh, it's your father's father. Your
Mhm.
grandmother?
So she passed before him, and you know what? They were married for over 75 years, and we thought when she died that he was going to die. He just kept going, but I realized when he was in those last stages, I realized why he stuck around for a longer. His youngest daughter, Phyllis, out of 6, so she's the youngest girl. She lives at home because they had a rule. You didn't leave the house until you got married. Well, she never got married. And she was in the house with him, right? When my grandmother was alive, after she died. And one day I was visiting my grandfather pretty much daily while he was on hospice. I said to him, "It's okay, granddaddy. We're gonna take care of Phyllis. Never been married, doesn't have any kids." And I believe he was staying around because her caring for him gave her something to do.
My mom passed first. They were just 2 months shy of 70 years. And my dad, I thought the same thing. My dad lived another 3 years, but it was really hard. He just couldn't understand
Mm.
where his glow was. It was, yeah. Wow. And what about, okay, so now do you have great uncles and aunts still alive? Like his siblings? So then
No,
it's,
he
wow.
outlived everybody.
Wow, what a beautiful story. All right, let's go to your website and show. Wow, I am a little crying because it's just so beautiful. What service was he in?
He was in the Army and he was in the National Guard.
Oh,
And he was able to do one of those honor flights. Have you heard of those?
I feel like I think so, but please explain it.
So basically what happens is, and they do this on Southwest Airlines, where they take the veterans to DC and they get to, see different sites in
Yeah.
DC. And then when they come back to their home airport, they do this big celebration at the airport. So we did that as well. So when I say he enjoyed life, he had a Facebook page. And he said, because he wanted to keep up, with all the grandkids. So that's why he was on there.
Oh my God. My dad too. He had Twitter, he had LinkedIn, he had Facebook. My dad loved emojis. Did your grandfather love emojis?
He did not. He was not into the emojis. He was focused on photos.
Oh.
When he was in hospice and I was going through his iPad, oh my gosh. He had photos of the physical therapist, his physician, you name it. He had photos of everybody in there.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful that you captured I mean, my God, he was before TV. Like that's amazing. But like I feel like the only way that we can really learn, besides actually what we see on TV, is by family members that have done an interview. All right, let's focus on you now. Thank you so much for that story. And that's just so beautiful. I just absolutely love that. Okay, so now this is really great. All right. So website is, just for everyone, drlisacampbell.org. Campbell like the soup. Sorry. I know, Dr. Lisa, that you probably are like, really? Good.
I've used that forever. But just for clarification, it's Dr. Lisa L. Campbell.
Oh, L. Why do I have
put
M?
that L in there?
I didn't know. Why did in my mind, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell. Did I say M by accident?
No, you left off the L.
Oh, it's Dr. Lisa L. Campbell.org. Remember the L, you guys. I love it. All right. So I just want to look through your website a little bit too, if you don't mind. So because you're a healthcare veteran, I'm reading here, but what are you exactly doing now?
So right now, remember I said, I'm no longer going to be held hostage. So really what I am doing right now, number one, I work with physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and basically I support them in improving their documentation. And this is very important because insurance companies are like denying claims, saying that diagnosis is unspecified. You had to have known what side of the stomach the abdominal pain was on, right? So I help support them in improving their documentation so that they can keep their reimbursement and that what they documented was compliant. So that's one thing that I do. And then the other thing that I do are leadership and employee retreats, because in healthcare, it's a rough environment. And sometimes there's this disconnect between staff and leadership. Sometimes you have leaders who are going, but they need a retreat so that they can be resuscitated, literally resuscitated, with information about how to deal with burnout, imposter syndrome, but also some new and innovative ways to motivate their team, right? A lot of leaders don't realize you have to coach your staff, but also everybody doesn't need to be coached the same way, right? You have some team members who they are highly motivated, highly functioning. You don't need to have your eyeballs on that person. You basically need to say, when you need me, call me, right? But then you might have someone who's highly motivated, but they don't have the skills. How can you support them? You can't treat each employee the same. And when it boils down to it, and I hate to use this word, but the model that I like to use uses this word. You have to be able to diagnose each person so that you can meet them where they are and support them in their growth journey.
I love that. I love right now that there's executive function training and understanding that we all have neurodivergent brains and how to work with a person. So I think that that is brilliant. So hospitals reach out to you so that you help them to, because in essence, you're helping them save money to be more accurate, right? Make better diagnosis and make sure that they're getting paid. And that helps the patient. So I could see the whole picture. But what I don't know is how you get the business.
So the business usually happens by word of mouth. Back in my earlier entrepreneurship days, I did a lot of marketing. But what I realized is what gets you in the door are relationships, right? So I develop relationships organically, really, by going to different conferences. They either see me speak at a conference, they'll come up to me and say, hey, we want to chat with you about how you can help our organization. Or somebody else tells them, hey, we had Dr. Lisa come and she was really able to get through to our clinicians, because everybody can't have a conversation with physicians. And so, I walk in the room being my normal self. And sometimes my normal self says, you know what? This provider had a bad day. They just lost a patient. And today is not the day for you to have the conversation that you wanted to have with them. And so sometimes I may have a totally different conversation and say, you know what? Let's reconnect to talk about your documentation. And they say to me, we appreciate you for being empathetic to what we go through as clinicians. And I care about them because I started as a medical assistant in 1992. I grew up in healthcare supporting clinicians. And so I will tell you, I will fight you over a physician. I do not like a physician, a nurse practitioner, physician assistant. I want to protect them because as we get older, we need them. And I don't want them to be so burned out that when I walk in the room, I don't get the care that I deserve. So I'm really helping all of us.
You really are. My dad Love, love, love. So I grew up in the branding industry, and my dad would take these Schaefer pens. They were pretty expensive actually at the time, and he would have doctors are special people, nurses are special people. Then the 4-color pens back in the day. Remember, he bought the 4-color pens. Then
I was gonna.
I want to say the lip balm, because he felt that doctors and nurses always had dry lips because the hospital air, like my dad. And he said to me, Adrian, if there's one thing you do, always visit someone when they're in the hospital. People don't visit enough. They have so many excuses. And then my dad would get into the hospital. He had an ileostomy, so he was in and out a lot. And he only had it once, by the way. It lasted over 50 years, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. But he would clear out a drawer, take one of the drawers by the side of his bed, he'd clear it out, throw all of the gifts in there. And then everyone who would come in, it didn't matter who, if they were from the gift store, and, to take whatever it was, healthcare special people, but he also had them in his pocket. So if he met someone, my son married a nurse, a transplant nurse. And it's just so beautiful because I am that person that grew up with understanding the importance of our healthcare system. All right. I want to go through your website. And you are so likable. I could see why people would want to I want to look at the retreats. I love this. Sorry.
And I love people. You know that?
Oh,
I think that's really important. There have been a lot of people along the way that have helped me in one way or another. And so I try to give that love that I received.
Oh, you do a lot of retreats, a Thrive Together. Wow. What's one of your favorite retreats that you love doing?
Growth mindset. Growth mindset. I had an opportunity to meet Dr. Carol Dweck. She was one of the, what do you call them? The founders of the growth mindset. And I met her during the pandemic in a group of others. And I realized that many of us are limiting how far we can go in life because of our mindset. We will tell ourselves, oh, I can't do that, right? Oh, I'm 53 years old, so I can't change. You absolutely can rewire your brain. And sometimes I think we don't even realize that we're not operating in that mindset. And when someone just points it out, it's like, whoa, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I almost need lessons, but sometimes if I do say it negatively, I heard that I have 7 seconds to fix it. So if it comes in my head, I fix it right away. And then I get nervous, like, oh my God, did I just mess myself up there? But I do listen. I meditate at night and I listen to really work on that. So you have the retreats here. I love this. All right, I want to look at your book so I can show everyone. So DRLISAL Campbell.org. And then I'm in the shop right now. Okay. So you have the Grow With Me journal. Look at this. You're so beautiful. I can't. So colorful. Okay. So the Grow With Me book. Wow. Okay. This is interesting. You've written what, 7 books in a journal?
Yes. And actually one of them is not on there. Last year I did a anthology book called Thankful for It All, where I interviewed 15 other individuals to tell their stories, because I wanted the world to know that we all go through something, but we are thankful for what we went through, because then we can help somebody else.
I love that. I've done 2. I use pod2book.ai, which is amazing. You could take your podcast interviews and turn them into the narrative is beautiful. So I will send you your chapter when I'm ready so you can see it and make a decision. I love everything. Okay, guys, you can request Dr. Lisa to speak, which is wonderful. Okay, what if someone's not in the healthcare? Do you do outside the healthcare? It looks like you do.
I do. I do outside of healthcare, because even though healthcare is my world, last year I started hosting a women's empowerment conference, and guess what the name of it is?
So you really want me to guess?
Guess.
Not WEC, Women's Empowerment Conference. Empower You.
No, it's kind of long, but you heard me use the word WEIG.
Yes. Oh, shoot.
So it's women evolving, igniting growth, healing, and transformation. Because
Ooh.
I firmly believe that many of us are walking around with weight. And I'm not talking about physical weight. I'm talking about historical weight. I'm talking about comparative weight. We're all looking at everybody else's highlight reel and like, oh, they must have it all together. No, you see what they want you to see on social media, right? And so that conference is really, it's more than a conference. It's actually an experience because women came into the room feeling a certain kind of way, but were able to look around and see that they weren't alone, that they were in a safe space. So we're doing it again September 19th of this year. So I'm very excited. And all of this happened. Let me just be very clear. All of this happened because I shedded my own weight.
So you have different speakers coming in?
I do. I have about 14 speakers.
We could turn those speakers into a book too, by the way. Podium
Well,
to page.
actually, we already have the framework in place for that.
Awesome. That's great. I think it's really important. I don't know if you're including, but I have a 20-year-old daughter who just is a highlight of my life. And I have 3 older boys. I love you guys. They're amazing. They are amazing. But it's a girl. It's my daughter. I wanted a girl so badly. But it's interesting trying to explain to Alana, hey, honey, don't worry so much because we don't have it together too. Like, I don't know how to make sure that our younger generation understands. I feel like, how I would have felt, right? Like, oh, I'm all, I'm not together now, but look at this person, those highlight reels are all together, but trying to get her to understand that these conferences exist because at any age we need the support of each other and we're all constantly learning. So have you done one that opens up to those that are, in their 20s, the daughters, I would say, or the younger professionals?
So guess what? Last year, the age range was 21 to 78 that was in that room.
I love that.
And
Wait,
so
where's this information?
And I was really strategic in the selection of the speakers where I had the different age groups, right? And it's not on there. It's not on the website. It's actually on Eventbrite. But it's actually all over the internet because we have posted it so much. Women Evolving, Igniting Growth, Healing, and Transformation, the WAIT Conference.
Oh, okay. So then I am going to, let me just double check something here. Okay. So then I can, sorry guys, I'm just going to, hold on, follow. Oh, I love this. Hello. I'm so, you know what my dad always said, do it now. Don't wait to do things. Can I just connect with you?
Sure.
And make sure I'm on mine. Connect. I'm not going to send a message. I'll just connect. Oh, no, I just won't do a note. We don't need to do that if that's okay. And then, let me just 2 more. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just connecting. Face on the bottom of the website is where you can connect, which is lovely. I will be sharing all of this anyways. And then I want to get your YouTube. So I just have everything done. Let me make sure I'm on my, yep, it's my YouTube. So I'm going to subscribe. 52 authors, 52 weeks. Oh my God, we're so much alike. I was able to do 60 authors in the last quarter of the year. I love you. Okay, wait. And then the podcast. Wait, so I need to share this out.
The podcast is 52 authors, 52 weeks.
Oh, that's a podcast. Oh, I love this.
It is a podcast. Yes. And it has its own website, but it's also on, all the Spotify and Amazon Music and Apple Music, whatever those names are, it's on there as well. And really that came about because of my love of reading. And I'm like, you know what? The world needs to hear from these other authors. So I'm in year 3. I'm very excited about it because I've met people from everywhere, which has been amazing.
Oh,
and
I love love it.
There are some healthcare professionals on there, some physicians talking about weight loss.
That's okay.
But
That's
then
beautiful.
you also see that I have some medical coding on there as well.
I saw that.
I tried to get away from medical coding, like hide that portion of my life. And someone said to me the other day, I saw you have a playlist on your YouTube channel, this coding exam prep. And I said, yes. Many people were reaching out to me. They wanted to know if I was doing any coaching in that area. And I said no. But I ultimately realized that I could help them by putting the playlist on YouTube. So far, there's like 51 episodes. And so many people have reached out to me and said, thank you for putting this out there for free because they didn't have the money to pay for an exam prep. So one of my friends said to me, what you're doing is literally ministry for people. You're giving back to people.
I love it. Okay, so you can LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm following everything so I could do all of that. I am so glad to meet you. Is there anything that I did not ask you that I should have asked you?
I can't think of anything. What do your viewers want to know about?
They're used to me interviewing people that I don't know. So I think they're all interested in like the challenges, what people go through, how our guests help people. The whole idea of the anthology is amazing. I love that. I love the fact that you do the retreats. I love that you have your niche, which really makes sense. Just learning about how important it is. And let's have you give our listeners how do we as a patient know that we are getting the right whatever it is that we need? So, what does that look like? And how important is it that everything is invoiced correctly when it comes, to the doctor? Like, is that so like a patient helping a patient to just make sure that we go to see the doctor and then our paperwork is correct and they submit it through insurance, but what if it gets denied? Like, is there any hints or tips that you can offer us?
Absolutely. So number one, whenever you go to the clinic, the hospital, when that claim is submitted to the insurance company sends you what is known as an explanation of benefits. You've seen it. You might have thrown it in the garbage. Stop doing that. Because at the top of it, it says, this is not a bill. But if you read further down into it's like a form letter type deal, but it tells you the date of service, what was actually rendered to you. And as a patient, you should look at that to make sure that what they have on there is what you actually had. Because what if they're submitting claims on your behalf, but you didn't see the provider? That's called fraud. So you need to look at what they're actually submitting to your insurance company. And if something gets rejected, that explanation of benefits, we call it an EOB, it'll actually tell you why it was rejected. And it could be something that the office didn't do, right? And I'm not here to put blame on offices, but it could be things like the claim was submitted after the insurance company's deadline. That's called timely filing. And basically what that means is they didn't do their job, so they can't bill you for that. Another area is maybe they said the service that was provided to you was applied to your deductible. What does that actually mean? Well, that's basically how much you have to pay before the insurance company pays. And I'll give one more. The other thing you might see on there is something known as co-insurance. And all of this depends on what type of insurance you have. But basically, it's a percentage that you pay after the insurance company pays. One of the things I have found that many of us as healthcare consumers, we don't understand it and it paralyzes us. I challenge everyone to get more involved because you want to see what's going out into the insurance database under your name. You won't know unless you look at your paperwork. Oh, I got a bonus. I have a bonus. This is so cool. So one of the authors that I interviewed on my podcast, 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, is a physician. She wrote this book called Patient Empowerment 101. And in the book, she walks you through how to be better prepared for your doctor's office visit. And she covers not only insurance aspects, but she covers things that you need to collect before you go to the office. And that book is very helpful because oftentimes, and my grandmother was like this, well, the doctor said it, so it's right. But maybe you didn't give the doctor all the information, so it's wrong, right? So how can you partner with your provider to provide you with the best care possible? You have to be an active participant. Okay, bonus times 2. Sign up for your patient portals. In your patient portals, that's where you can see information about your lab. So my grandfather, when the nurse would come by, we were able to go into the portal and see when he had his last set of labs, right? What those labs were. History about him, some things that I didn't know. So when you're gathering with your families, talk about your family history so that you can bring that information forward from one generation to the next. But most importantly, that when you go to the doctor, you're equipped with knowledge to help that visit be more productive.
Wow. Okay, I'll admit it. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I always thought the explanation of a Bennett's, I thought it was like a template and like they were all the same. I've never actually dug deep to look at them. So wow, wow, wow. And I finally got a beautiful, beautiful oh my God, the portfolio, like what they have in the system. What is it is amazing. Yeah. So, and then I take pictures of it and I ask ChatGPT what everything really means, but I love my doctor. So I understand the care, but no, you guys, that was amazing. Those are 5 incredible tips. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that I didn't ask that you would like to share?
No, I don't think I have anything else. I'm just excited to be here. I love unscripted conversations. My podcast, 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, I do not have a prep meeting with the author. They sign up, I buy their book, I read through their book, and then we get their interview scheduled and we talk about their book for 30 minutes. I grew up, I'm a 70s baby, obviously, because I'm 53, but I grew up in a time where we had genuine connections with people. And so I like for the author to show up as their authentic self. I show up as my authentic self, and we can have an authentic conversation.
I love that. I mean, I am a podcast producer for some podcasts, and some hosts love the questions. I think that's great. When I created this during COVID, it was more like to show off my friends. And then I kind of got picked up by some PR agents. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't even like to do prep. Actually, kind of came from when the doctor said, you're going to have a colonoscopy, but no prep needed because you're going to do it in a box. And I said, well, okay, I'll do the Cologuard. So I was like, that's when I changed my name to no prep needed. So my name is for all those that have to poop in a box and don't have to have any prep. That's awful to say, but it's real.
And very important, right?
Very, very important. Though I did get a call saying I definitely gave them more than they needed.
Oh yeah, as a medical assistant, I've gotten those in the mail. That was probably before Cologuard, but the little cards. Even though I think that's what made me not want to be a nurse, because I was like, I told you, I demonstrated with a Snickers. Just give me a little bit. Oh my gosh.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. I love you. I followed you. You just saw I'm following you everywhere, but now I'm going to share and and I look forward to it. So I will have the information on your event coming up. And where will it be?
It will be at the Chicago Midway Marriott Hotel. So right by Midway Airport. I wanted it to be convenient because we have speakers that are coming in from out of town. We have attendees that are coming in from out of town. So I wanted it to be where they could just get off the plane, get on the free airport shuttle, be right there. There's a couple of, Chicago staple pizza places in the area that you can walk to. So, but I really wanted to create this space that women can gather. And I realized that it was bigger than this one day. So we're working on other different types of events and magazines and things. We did one magazine last year, so we're going to do another one. But I just want to be there for people in a time that we may not know that they needed somebody else. They needed someone to give them a hug. They needed someone to tell them that they are enough. You don't know what people go through in their households, how they were raised. You just never know. And I want to be that ray of sunshine that someone says, you know what? I am enough and I can do this. I can apply for that promotion, right?
I love that. Do you happen to know Dr. Tangi Brewer?
No.
Oh, she's out of Chicago. We were just there for Creative Con. So, I love it. Well, when you give me all the information, I'll be able to share it. So I love that. And I just thank you. Thank you with your beautiful smile. See, I can't even take my eyes off of you. I would be all messed up. I wouldn't be able to look at the questions. I'm just mesmerized.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is live, and then I'm going to turn it into a podcast, and I will, keep you up to date. But thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I think you are an amazing woman, and thank you. So everyone, connect with Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, and thank you. Thank you for being brave, bold, beautiful, and just. And thank you for starting the conversation about saving